This was a topic I wanted to talk about for a while, but I was never really sure how I should start it, what to title it, or even what to say, because at the time I wasn't ready for it. I was not ready to be told that Omega Strikers was no longer going to be receiving updates, and would most likely never get updates again. This crushed me. I was in the honeymoon phase of the game, I didn't know everything I was doing, and I learned a lot, and most importantly, I was having the most fun I've had with a PvP game in years. As you can imagine, I didn't take the news well. Now, that doesn't mean I started saying nasty things or doing nasty things. More like I just felt empty for a while. I thought this was going to be the game that would give me that feeling of drive that League of Legends once had. But it sadly had ran out of time. I played for a few months after the announcement, but after that, I just stopped getting on as much. There was no new content. It was still fun, and I had a lot of good times, but the thought of sinking time into something, hoping it would somehow get updates again or start to get content, sucked. But even now, as I'm writing the script, I miss this game. And I know it's still out there. I can still get on, and I do here and there, but after I get off, I feel a hint of remorse. And it's not that I didn't enjoy myself, it's mostly the fact that I won't get to see this game grow, evolve, and change. And that sucks. If I had been playing this game for a longer time and had been more jaded, maybe it would have hurt less. But I also think that's wishful thinking. So, why did I want to put out this video in the first place? Well, mainly two reasons. I wanted to share my short yet enjoyable experiences, but I also just wanted to talk about this game. So, with that out of the way, let's hop into why I'm going to miss Omega Strikers. With the sappy stuff mostly out of the way, for anyone that's clicked on this video and has no idea what Omega Strikers is, let me start with... Actually, you know what? How about I show you instead?
I really am built different.
So, after watching that, it probably taught you nothing. Maybe that the yellow thing is basically a ball and this is kind of like soccer. And to that, I have to say, it's more like air hockey. But let's start with the basics. You start off with two teams of three, two forwards and one goalie. The forwards' jobs are to hit barriers, KO the enemy, and, well, get goals. The goalies have the job of stopping whatever the forwards are doing. Make sure they don't get goals or barriers. I won't get into the big details of the role because that's just not what I'm here to talk about. So, I'll just stick to the basics. Moving on, you have the core, this little guy. It can spawn in three locations: top, middle, or bottom. Sometimes it's also just top or bottom. You want to hit the core into the enemy team's goal. Seems simple enough, right? Well, this is where the fun begins. Not only is this air hockey, it's also a MOBA. That means shit tons of learning and cool-ass characters. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's reel it back to basics. So, you know that you need to hit the core into the goal. But why is the goal not open all the time? Well, that has to do with barriers. Only when the barriers are hit with the core will the goal open up. Honestly, I'm not sure why these were added to the game, if it's to make games last longer or more depth, but all you need to know is that if those barriers don't go down, you will have no chance to get goals. Alright, so we know how to open up the goal. How do we score? And what do characters even do? I think that'd be the next best thing to hop into, no? If you've ever played a MOBA, you understand one of the most important things about a MOBA is how well designed and fun the characters are. So, with a game being about air hockey, how would you go about making the characters? Well, what if they all had crazy good aesthetics and cool kits and... First off, the stuff everyone has in their kits. All characters have a strike that hits the core in whatever way the strike was aimed, and an energy button. When you use the energy button, while you only have a yellow bar, you will go immune and won't be able to be hit by enemy skills and map hazards. When you have a full blue bar, you'll knock back enemies around you and stop the core in place when it's around you. The next hit you do to it will send it flying at a fast pace. All characters have a primary, secondary, and special. Some character abilities may be similar to another character, but there will always be distinct differences between the two abilities to make them unique. I may not be able to go into what everyone's skills are, but I can give a very general overview of what the 3 skills will do for the character. With that said, take this with a healthy serving of salt. Primaries are clashing or skill shot abilities, having more range or special effects. Secondaries are movement abilities, being speed boosts, teleports, dashes. Unless you're Finny, then you get a round circle that hits anything that comes in contact with it. I don't know, but yeah, Finny. Finally, but definitely not least, is specials. These are most of the time the character's strongest abilities. I won't be giving a description for this one because most of the specials are too different from each other and are very linked to the characters themselves. Also, some characters have passives. That's all I gotta say about that. Over time, you'll find kits or movesets that you like the most or click with. I'll get Mr. Editor here to throw up on screen my most played characters. So, you understand how to score goals, you've taken a quick look at characters, so real quick we'll go over rounds, items, and leveling. Rounds last until one of the 2 teams have scored 3 points. Most normal matches have 3 rounds, and in between rounds you'll be able to grab items that can buff your character. I promise we're almost done. Last but not least, levels. You get levels from KOing people, hitting the core, grabbing orbs, and just about everything. KOing people, getting goals, and getting barriers seem to give the most EXP towards leveling. I'm not forgetting anything, right? Oh, fuck me. I forgot about maps. Oh, god damn it. Let's take a look at maps. So, a lot of maps will have different stuff from portals to speed up panels to stuff that explodes, and much more. It's all done to change up gameplay so it's not as stale or boring. I'd say that's about everything you need to know at a base level. So that brings us all the way back to the title of this video, why I'm gonna miss this game. Before I answer that question, I have a question for you, my dear viewer. Can you remember the last time you played a PvP game that cared more about how fun it is compared to how competitive and viable it was? Because for me, it's been a very, very long time. Now, I haven't played every PvP game that's came out in the last 6 years, but I've played a lot of them, and I honestly can't remember the last one that was like, fun comes first. PvE games seem to not have any trouble with this, because fun always seems to come first for the most part. And if it's not fun that comes first for PvE, it's challenge. So that leaves PvP games in a weird place, where it's about making it competitive and min-maxing everything so you can win. And some people really do find that fun. And if I really get into a game, then I also find that part fun. But over time, it seems like the base level of fun in PvP is just slowly becoming less and less. It's more about learning how everything works, so when you win, that's where the fun comes from. No more wonky moments when you first start a game, no more wonder. It's all about how do I win, because it's winning that's fun. I know, learning how systems work and coming to understand the game's mechanisms is very enjoyable. I just wish it didn't feel so narrow and set in stone. I miss the sense of progression of just getting on a game, not worrying about winning or losing. Is it too much to ask to just want to get on and learn? Not have to watch a 40-minute video on laning phase, only to have my allies call me slurs in chat? Also, just wanted to slot this in here. A lot of what I'm saying is subjective. Not everyone is going to feel the same way as I do. My word is not gospel. Back to what I was saying. When I used to play League, it did feel fresh, different, interesting, and in all honesty, I hadn't felt that way about a PvP game till I picked up Omega Strikers, where, for the first time in forever, It felt like fun was put over everything else. Min-maxing still did exist, but it never felt as bad. Games could swing in really weird ways because of how maps worked, but overall it felt fresh, new, but still similar enough. There was still stuff about the game that really sucked to deal with, but I enjoyed myself so much more than I have with 99% of the PvP games over the last 6 to 7 years. And I don't know how much I can stress this, but it almost gave me the same feeling I got while playing ARAM with a bunch of friends, just shooting the shit. I felt like I was learning, getting better, but it also wasn't getting in the way of having fun. I was allowed to do both. Basically, for me, it was a PvP game done right, and it had so much potential and room to grow. And I couldn't wait to see what would come to the game next, but sadly, I won't ever get to see what this game grows into, or what the studio would have done with it going forward. That hurts. Most of the time, I just play PvP games with friends, because that's the only way I can make them feel bearable. I didn't need to do that for Omega Strikers. It was special. As I was saying before, it definitely had its problems. Things like player skill being off balance, and some of the maps were annoying. But I could always look past that, because a lot of the time when I was losing, I was still having fun. It felt amazing to win, but I didn't feel like absolute dog shit when I lost, and that's something I can't say about other games right now. When the games are close and the stakes were high, the feeling of it coming down to one goal gave me back a feeling I can't describe besides bliss. And when I did have my friends by my side making jokes, doing dumb shit, it was even better than most single-player games I've played in recent times. Shout out to my boy Pan and the rest of y'all. You know who you are. The studio for Omega Strikers is making other games going forward, using the same world from Omega Strikers. But I feel like their other games won't scratch that same itch that Omega did for me, and that's probably because I was looking for a game that would fill the hole that League left after I stopped playing it. It just feels like such a letdown, disappointment. I'm not really sure what word to use because I have so many emotions about it, but I want to trust the studio that did make a game that put fun first and just let them do their thing. And I can't change what's already happened. It's been a year, and we get micro updates here and there to items and changing around our current maps. And seeing these updates come out almost gives me hope, but I'm grasping for straws. Almost everyone else has moved on, but I still don't want it to be the end for this game. So I'll keep getting on here and there till the servers shut down or there's no players left. And it will still be a game I come back and reminisce on. I guess at the end of the day, I'm gonna miss Omega Strikers for a lot of reasons. And I don't know if there'll ever be a game that sparks the same joy that I had playing it. But who knows? Maybe it could come back one day, or maybe it'll just stay a memory. I guess I should just be glad it's going to be a happy memory. Even though it wasn't a long time I had with this game, it was a good one. I'll always be sad about the what ifs and what it could have been, but I should also just be happy for the time I had with it. So, thank you, Omega Strikers. Thank you, Team Odyssey, for bringing back a feeling I never thought I'd get back while playing a PvP game. And I hope to see more amazing games from you in the future. Well, this was Loomis, and thank you for listening.